Hello and welcome to my channel on Ancient in Chinese Astrology. I am professional astrologer Zagata from the website 100%astrology.com, and I would like to make a video on how to rectify a natal chart. And I will give an example with Nadya Suleman, which is the mother that gave birth to octuplets, to eight babies at a single time, and that she has 14 children. She is in the Guinness Book of Records. So this is my YouTube channel, Ancient in Chinese Astrology. And so let's get started. First of all, this is let me zoom out. This is Nadya. I have a lot of information about her. As you see, I will provide a lot of sources, and this is her data. It's from a birth certificate, 9:59 p.m. with Aquarius ascendant. However, when I saw the chart and when I input it in my astrological softwares, I immediately saw that something is really off, because and as I started to study her life, the more I studied it, the more I saw that something is that this time is incorrect. And first of all, where do I start with? Well, let's start with the basics. So what is birth time rectification? Birth time rectification is a procedure that's used to determine the accurate time of birth when it is when there is some deviation in the time, or when it is approximate, or when it is unknown. And you have to know that the Astrodatabank, the lowest Rodan database original, the more than half of the cases are either round hour, half hour, or quarter hour, and so they are rounded. They're not completely accurate. And here, even though it's 9:59, again, depending on the clock, the point is that the issue is whether all charts should be rectified. Again, in fact, the majority of, especially modern astrologers, they think that just because they see that the data is from AA, from a written document, it means that the data is accurate. No, that's not the case actually. And again, I don't have the article in front of me right now. There are two articles about it. One is from an American astrologer at the Skyscript forum. He checked 15,000 charts from Astrodatabank, and he showed that 57% of them are with rounded times, which again, it really skews the results. And another is by someone who is with Indian astrology, and they also showed that again, there are big variations. So deviations in the time. So as to the question again, whether birth records are always reliable, again, it depends on the time. If this 9:59, again, whether it's 9:59 or 10:00 at 10 sharp, if it were 10:05 or 10:04 or 10:09, but so birth records are generally accurate, but not entirely accurate. So you can't just take the data and and start applying all the many methods, because again, in many cases you could even have a different ascendant. And again, depending on the type of astrology that you use, it may require little accuracy, or again, the more advanced, the more accuracy you would need. And so also keep in mind that as a professional astrologer, I've rectified charts from people of various countries, of various continents, and again, the fact that it comes from, for example, that she was born as you see, in California, in the United States, doesn't make it, because it comes from the West, that it's more accurate. No, it's not. Again, it's I've had cases with hospital records indicating one recorded birth time, and the birth certificate recorded again. Not the birth certificate, but rather the at the civil registry office, they give another time compared to the hospital, or a mother's memory. Not the mother's memory. Family records, the mother's diary or the grandmother's diary, they differ. So again, just because it's written down, it doesn't mean that it's, again, it depends on the type of accuracy that you need. Again, if as a professional astrologer, I cannot afford to to take chances. And again, in some charts it's possible to once, if you confirm, provided you confirm that the ascendant is accurate and that the key placements do not change, it's possible to continue, although you'd have to skip some of the most powerful methods. But in other cases, it's simply not. So again, just to answer the question whether all times or whether all natal chart should be rectified, it depends what you're using the chart for. If I calculate the length of life, yes. If I use all the methods that I know of, if I want to give full service to the client, yes, the chart should be rectified, particularly if some of the key placements are on the verge of changing. Or also in the Chinese chart, they use a different system where the hour, what they call the hour pillar, if it changes within a few minutes. So for example, it would change from 9 to they change every 2 hours. So a given ascendant may not change, but the Chinese chart may change with 5 or 10 or 15 minutes difference. So again, it depends what you, and also it depends what you need it for. Now this so let me yes, the next thing I would like to discuss is various approaches to birth time rectification. So let me show. This is Nadya's chart again, as I saw it. This is her. Again, this woman, she's into the Guinness Book of Records. She gave birth to 8 these are the octuplets, the eight babies at a single time on the 26th of January 2009. And when I saw the chart and started examining it, again, I knew that I had to use my toolbox, my very, very trusted full box. As you see, it is securely locked. It has so many tools inside that I had to make use to find out the correct time of birth, because this will be the purpose of this video. But just for resources, the photo I take all credit. This is her Nadya. She goes also by Natalie, her Instagram, and also there are many videos of her that you can. I will link them in the description. You can see how she looks like, how she speaks, etc., etc. This is a very long interview with her that I also recommend, that I have read, of course, in preparation for this detailed video. Her side of the story, it's about 20 pages, and you get insight into her character, into her life, etc. So I was saying that so let's get to various approaches to rectification. Now the pretty much the vast majority of astrologers use only this approach, which is called event-based approach to rectification. And as a result of this, the vast majority of astrologers who do rectification do not do it accurately enough, or they can do it accurately enough within only a small period of time, within a few hours at most. Not when the time of birth is only approximate, only a given part of day was remembered where the birth took place, or the time of birth is unknown. So this event-based approach is fraught with it's incomplete. It is a good approach. It should be used, but it is incomplete. Also, there are approaches where that rely on physiognomy, in other words, the appearance of the native. And also, again, you have to remember that astrology is natal astrology is over 2,000 years old, and it was prior to the age of computers, and not just prior, but even now, when an astrologer interacts with the client, if it's a live interaction, and if the astrologer is experienced and is very it has good powers of observation, the astrologer will notice how the client, not just how they look like, but how they speak and how they move and how they laugh, what gestures they make, etc., etc. Again, this is also Indian astrologers also do this as well. There are books and materials about it, not just in the Indian tradition. So the point is that some astrologers they rectify based on physiognomy, based on physical appearance, and in fact there are books about it. I have a few books about it. I would like to I could show you the pictures, but they're copyright. But the point is that there is also merit in this approach, in the physiognomy approach, which is obviously it's an approximate approach, but it allows you to figure out the ascendant, and if the astrologer is again also depending on the age of the client, if the astrologer is exceptional, and also if the chart allows, because it's a complex science. I mean, this physiognomy stuff, depending on how many planets aspect the ascendant, whether they're above the horizon, below the horizon, etc., etc., depending on whether you have a whether you have a stellium of planets, many planets that would skew the appearance. I mean, etc., etc. But it's possible to get not just the ascendant sign, the whole ascendant image, but the decan, the 10 parts, the 10 degree part of the ascendant. And the third approach is the approach that I use predominantly, not just it obviously, but it's called the accidents of the native. This is a term used by ancient astrologers, and this, by accidents of the native, it means the unique circumstances of the native's life that separate this or that native from others. So this, in other words, this is the static level. And when astrologers use the when they use the events of the native, they use only the dynamic. However, it's premature, and it opens the practitioner to compounding errors and having to make assumptions, which is extremely dangerous. Again, depending on what type of rectification you're doing. If you have to just specify the decan and the degree, that's one thing. But if you're working with many hours window or unknown time, it's extremely dangerous to rely only on that, and that is how astrologers do it, which is wrong, simply put. So the difference between the event-based and the accidents of the native is that when astrologers use the event-based approach, they put the cart before the horse, so to say. What they're saying is, this native married at age 32, had a child at 33, was promoted at 36, their mother died at 45, etc., etc. In other words, what they're saying is, because this happened, and this at this time, then this is the type of native. Again, it's a reverse. What the correct way is to say, this native has such and such circumstances in his life, such and such accidents, and because of that, he will have one marriage or two marriages. He will marry, if you studying it in detail, as you see, he will marry at this age or that age, or that his mother will be this and that, and then you confirm it with the timing. Whereas if you use only the timing, only the events, again you are forcing yourself to match the chart. It's incomplete. It's like a little bit like in martial arts. There are martial arts that although rectification is much more difficult in martial arts, because you don't have one opponent, you have many opponents, you have at least several opponents, several possible ascendants, again depending on the type of rectification you're doing. So with martial arts, there are martial arts that are like karate, like let's see, what's this Korean called, where they forgot about it, where they trained the soldiers to kick, where they trained the people to take down soldiers from the horses. This Korean martial art. Anyhow, the point is that there are martial arts that are focused only on striking. They do strikes, whereas there are martial arts that are focused only on grappling, like judo or like aikido, or it's Brazilian jiu-jitsu, etc. Again, the key is to blend. The key is to blend and to use the the best of both. And again, like Tai Chi is such a martial art where it uses both striking and grappling. So likewise with rectification, it's the proper way to do it is start at the natal level. But to do that requires the astrologer to spend a lot of time and to research. Again, it depends on the type of rectification the astrologer is doing. When you do it for a celebrity or for someone who has a public record, again you can find a lot information. In many cases, more information than if you were to ask a client. On the other hand, the advantage of rectifying a chart for a client is that you can ask them. You can receive information that in many cases is not present in the public domain. I mean, information about, for example, in Nadya's case, there is little information about, as I was explaining, but I had to read 3, 4, 5 articles. I had to watch a few videos, and I could not find, for example, information about her mother. I had to, again, and later as I researched more, I found out information about the fact that her mother died and when, etc., etc. So again, it's depending on the level of specificity, but the more the bigger time window that you're dealing with, the more information that you need, and again, the more diligence you'd have to exercise in order to make sure that you're standing on solid ground and you're not making assumptions. And again, many astrologers, they're making assumptions, and also these assumptions are based also on what I call the aspects disease. Modern astrologers, they explain everything with aspects, and again, this is because of the very poor state of modern astrology compared to ancient astrology or traditional astrology even. And again, when you're using more aspects, when you're using minor aspects, when you're using more planets, I mean, you can start to find connections, and you can start to find and even invent, if you will, connections that explain things after the fact. And again, it's the more variables that you work with, the greater the chance of compounding errors. And when you start to compound errors, you're as good as dead, basically, in rectification, because the more charts you rectify, the more mistakes you will be making, because again, you're compounding and making more and more assumptions. Again, the way not to do this, to avoid this, is to stand on solid ground and collect the accidents of the native, as I have done, as I will show. So again, someone would say, so why are you doing rectification for when it's from a birth certificate? Well, I'm doing it because, simply put, this ascendant is wrong. That's why. Because again, if someone would like to refute that, again, they're welcome to explain how come this woman had 14 children. 14 children. She not have 1 or 2 or 3. This woman is in the Guinness Book of Records, and it's not just that. So let's So let's get to it. First of all, again, I'm using all the three approaches. The physiognomy approach, which is not always, by the way, speaking of this approach, it's not always possible, because many of the clients that I work with, in fact the majority of the clients I work with, I don't see them. I don't ask them for a photo, or I mean, some people could object to this, of course, and so I rely on the accidents of the native and also on the event based approach, so on the timing approach. So when I saw Nadya's photo, again from Wikipedia, same photo, and when I input the chart into my astrological software, I said, when I found out that she has 14 children, I said, this cannot be, this cannot be. Again, if you can look up people with Aquarius rising, which you would have with if this time of birth were accurate, and you can input people with Pisces ascendant and how they look like. Again, with Aquarius, it's air, it's air, and it's ruled by Saturn, and Pisces, it's water, and also more important, equally importantly, Nadya is a female, she's not a male. And again, women, they have more moisture in their bodies. So when you have a woman with a feminine ascendant, it's more pronounced. Whereas when you have and you have to remember with physiognomy, the fact that a given person is a man or a woman does not necessarily mean that they will have a masculine or a feminine body. No. Many women have masculine bodies, the masculine ascendant, but not just the ascendant. And many men have feminine bodies, or they have a feminine head, for example. Again, this is a whole other branch of the astrological science. And I refer people, for example, to astrologer Robert Zoller. He has, in his course that I've taken, obviously, he has a very detailed lesson on our astrological types, physiognomy, etc. And we have to remember also that obviously many of the astrologers were in history, they were physicians. So again, they used temperament and physiognomy and appearance, etc. Diseases, health imbalances, etc. So let's get started. Let me pull up my yes. So let me pull up my my comparison chart for both. So this is with the birth certificate, and this is just with the Pisces rising around the half of Pisces, although it won't. Yeah, and so what are the key accidents of the native? Well, what she's first of all, what she's known for is that she has 14 children. She gave birth to so she had 4 children and two more as twins. She had 6, and then she gave birth to 8 octuplets, 8 babies at a single time. So this woman, and what is so she stands out as with the octuplets, and also with the fact that all the babies have been born by in vitro procedure. So let's see what else. So yes, because they've been born with in vitro, because she has had severe problems. She tried to have a child naturally for, again, reports vary between 5 and 7 years, and she was unsuccessful. Nadya, again, speaking of the name, she was born Nadya. Her Instagram is Natalie. Whether it's Nadya or Natalie, I will call her Nadya because we have also a Bulgarian name here, Nadya, and I'm used to. I've named her in all my charts Nadya. But anyhow, whether it's Nadya or Natalie, it's the same amazing woman. So so Nadya, she has had severe problems with her reproductive system. Again, I'm not a doctor, but she has these are medical terms. She had problems with her fallopian tubes. She had let's see, this is my file for her events, for her the accidents of the native, then the event approach, and also her some quotes from her. But she had she has had health issues, but the most important ones are with the reproductive system. So she, again, unable to have children. And let's see what else. Something that really stands out as an accident of her life is that the father is unknown. So first of all, a friend of hers, she asked a friend of hers to donate sperm, and he agreed because she did not want to do it with anonymous people that she does not know. So this is a key accident. A friend of hers donated sperm, and first she says, in general it says that all 14 children have been with the material of this man who is a friend of hers. At one time, her mother says this also. Although Nadya at one time says that the first 6 were from a friend of hers, and the other 8 were from an anonymous donor. But the point is that it's anonymous, but it comes from a friend and it's anonymous. Also, if we take this is accurate for the anonymous part for the octuplets. Let's see what else. Nadya is very religious. She's a churchgoer. She is very, again, when you read her interview, she mentions God several times. She says children are a gift of God, etc., etc. Let's see. Nadya's parents are foreign immigrants. First generation immigrants. Her mother comes from Lithuania, and her mother is a school teacher, and her father is he worked overseas. He kept going overseas to make money as a translator, and then he also worked as a real estate agent, realtor, as in American English. Let's see what else. When Nadya's mother was 16 years old, she, along with her sister, Nadya's aunt, she came to the United States from Western Germany via American transport. Okay, let's see. Nadya and her husband, she married in late 1996. They tried again, as I said, they tried to have a child naturally, but they couldn't. And she also had another partner, and then another, but a short one. And the point is that her husband left her. Her husband left her because she couldn't get pregnant naturally, and she wanted to have a natural child. When she offered to have one with in vitro, with technology, with technological help, he refused, and so he left her, not she left him. Let's see. What is also interesting is that another key accident of her life is that Nadya used just one fertility specialist for all the pregnancies, all the in vitro procedures, and this man is a foreigner, and foreign immigrant, and also this man he because a lot of controversy was stirred when the public found out that he implanted, I believe, 6 embryos in her, and again, she was already 33 years old, and 32, 33 years old, and 33. And again, this could have led to to severe health problems, and also it raises medical and ethical issues also. And the point is that this doctor, he was an investigation was opened, and it was found out that he had other prior cases where he broke the, I forgot the name, it was not so, it was sort of like malpractice, and as a result of this, his membership was cancelled in this medical association, and he was also later his medical license was revoked, and he filed for bankruptcy, and no one helped him, and he had to go back to his native country, and he had been an immigrant for I believe he emigrated in 1968 or something, so he had been an immigrant for over 40 years. So this is highly significant. Also, again, one man, she started in vitro procedures in 1997, and she worked with this man, yes, Dr. Mikhail Kamrava. She worked with him for 12 years again. So this is highly important. Let's see. What other key accidents are there? Well, yes, Nadya, Nadya works at a psychiatric hospital, and there was a riot, and in September 1999, and she had an accident. She had an accident that involved the lower back, and as a result of this accident, she could not work for years, and she was receiving disability. Again, serious accident. Also, as a result of the pregnancy, she says, let me see, her back is broken, as you see. She has irreparable sacral damage. This is the lower back, and she has peripheral neuropathy, which is again some sort of nervous disease, but she hasn't felt her toes for many years. And again, also an important health issue that's obviously present in her chart. Let's see what else. Yes, her mother, Nadya's mother, is a teacher. Yeah, I said that. Sorry, I explained that. Let's see what else. Yes, Nadya made a lot of money from her children by selling the rights of her children to televisions, etc., etc. So she made a lot of money from her children. And in fact, but I will show it later. I had shown a chart with such a configuration. Let's see what else. Yes, Nadya was offered $1 million US to take part in a porno scene, 1 hour scene. She refused. That's a lot of money. 2 years later or 1 year later, she was offered less, I think $250,000, again, to take part in a 1 hour porno scene, was it? And she also refused. But again, that's a lot of money. When the money sort of ran out, she worked at a striptease club. Yes, that's also for 2 years or for a few years. Let's see what else. Yes, so as I said, this I explained this about a friend of hers being there being a direct relationship between a friend of hers who donated the sperm, the material, and her children being born. There also being a direct relationship between in a way he became the father, a partner, and he's unknown, and her there's nothing is known about her spouse. So there is something very secretive about her relationships, her spouse, etc. So Nadya, another key accident is Nadya was celibate she had no sexual life for over 13 years. Again, she was only about the children. The children are her life. She's obsessed with her children. She was obsessed with having children prior to giving birth to her first child. So obsessed with children. Extreme focus on children. Let's see what else. Nadya doesn't have any siblings, so no brothers or sisters. She attributed that again in this interview. Again, I recommend. I will give it in the description. She attributed that one of the reasons why she needed love. She needed children. She needed, a need to have a lot of children, many children. Let's see what else. Yes, Nadya has. She says she has vindictive neighbors. There is a story about having a mini pool in her house, in her backyard, and some of the neighbors, possibly because it's unknown how the authorities found out, but it turned out someone reported her that it was required to have a permit for this, and she didn't. I mean, to notify the town hall, the municipality, and she didn't. She was reported, and as a result, she was fined. And again, there is an article about this. So she complains of her neighbors. Let's see. I think these are. I covered all the major accidents of the native. Yes. Oh yes. Also, I forgot. I forgot two of them, I believe. So one of them is that Nadya. She suffered humiliation because of her children. She was hated. She suffered death threats. Her life was there were broken windows, there were threats, it got so bad that people she hired to represent her in 2009, they quit early 2009. And so it was again. She was extremely heavily criticized for being a single mother, for being unemployed, for having debt, and having so many children. So there is that. Let's see. Oh, yes, and the last thing. She around prior to Christmas, in the fall of 2008, so she gave birth to the octuplets on the 26th of January 2009. So in the fall of 2008, she had when she was carrying, again, she didn't know how many she had in her womb, but she had a physical breakdown, and she required help at the store, and they helped her obviously, and took her, I believe they used a wheelchair, it doesn't matter. The point is that they got her home. She was able to get home with help, and she at that night she had to call an ambulance, and she couldn't move. It was really, really bad, and she says that she hibernated for 6 weeks. Imagine, folks, she kind of slept for 6 weeks, and her mother was taking care of the 6 children at the time. So this is also a significant accident of her life, a circumstance of her life that sets her apart from other people. I believe this is it. So why is Pisces the correct? Why is first of all Aquarius the wrong ascendant? Well, because first of all, for a woman to have 14 children, which again we have, but let's not just with the children, but she is known for again famous for the children. With Aquarius, the sun is in the 6th. It's not in the 5th. It's in the 6th because it's again actually both ways. Whether you use a quadrant, whether it's 5 degrees prior to the cusp being, and it's also in the 6th. It's in the 6th domicile from Aquarius, as you can easily see. The sun is in the 6th. With Pisces, the sun is in the 5th. And again, sun, we have fame, and we have in the place of children. Pisces is it's one of the signs of many children. Pisces, Aquarius is not. Pisces is a sign is double-bodied, of two or more, of many. Aquarius is single-bodied. Also, with why Aquarius totally doesn't fit. It doesn't fit in any way. With Aquarius, the Lord of the 7th is the Sun, and this would place first of all with Aquarius, the Lord of the 1st would be in the 6th. This is by itself. The 6th is the place of injury and the place of exploitation. But what is really dangerous here is that the Lord of the 1st would be disposed by a planet in the 8th domicile, again with whole signs, and this is an extremely unfavorable configuration for health, because you are in the two worst places, in the place of injury and in the place of death, and this would show a life of constant health issues. That's not true in the life of Nadya. In fact, I forgot to say that Nadya is extremely active. She runs a lot. She runs I forgot how many miles per week. She jogs. She goes regularly to the gym. She's a vegetarian. She eats fish, though, but she predominantly eats fruits and vegetables, and so do her children. And so let's see. I was saying that with Aquarius, the Sun is Lord of the 7th, and the Lord of the 7th applies to the Lord of the 1st. This would put the Lord of the 1st under the power of the Lord of the 7th, especially as the Lord of the 7th is the Sun and it burns the Lord of the 1st. Completely misses the mark. Again, remember, Nadya's spouse left Nadya, not the other way around. With the Lord of the 7th seeking to conjoin to the Lord of the 1st, the partner is obsessed with the native and seeks out the native. Again, the opposite is true. And here with Pisces ascendant, we have the Lord of the 7th, Mercury, separating from the Lord of the 1st, as it should be, all things being equal. So again, Aquarius completely misses the mark in this respect also. Let's see, with the thing with the friend, extremely key accident in the life of the native, the connection between the native's friend and her children. Again, with the accurate ascendant, we have the Lord of the 11th of friends is in the 5th of children. Here we have, with Aquarius, we don't have that. The Lord of the 11th is in the 6th. There's no connection whatsoever. And let's see. Yes, this fertility specialist, again, he's a doctor, he's her slave, so to say, as we say in ancient astrology. In other words, he's someone, his 6th house, he's someone she hires to perform a service for her. So we call them slaves in ancient astrology, because the 6th is the house of slavery. So anyone you hire to do something for you becomes your slave, so to say, not your physical slave, obviously, but 6th house meaning for our intents and purposes. So he's represented by the 6th, and again, you will notice that the Lord of the 6th is in the 5th. So this shows this is his ascendant. So the Lord of his ascendant is in the 12th, and the 12th place is the place of foreign lands, one of its meanings. And this native again is an immigrant. Moreover, his ascendant lord is conjunct Saturn. Saturn is the planet of humiliation, of destruction of business, and also notice that in his 10th of career, which is the natal third, it's easier to see this way. This is his ascendant. This is his 10th. He has Mars, and what does Mars do? Mars ruins the career. Mars causes a scandal, and this man, again, his career was eventually, he went bankrupt, he lost everything, and he had to go back to his native country. Again, with Aquarius, we have the lord of the sixth is the moon. The moon is safe, unafflicted by any malefics, and again, there's no, and in his 10th is this, yes, it is Jupiter. While the lord of the 10th is afflicted, he has Jupiter in his, this would show sort of an impeccable almost reputation. So completely misses the mark, Aquarius ascendant. In this respect as well, let's see, Nadya says, so Nadya made a lot of money from her children. She signed a contract for $250,000 for a period of 3 years. Again, everything is public. I mean, what I'm again, my document is made up of, I will give the, yeah, and so with Aquarius, again, the lord of the second is not in the fifth. The lord of the fifth does not closely aspect the lord of the second, and there's no, it's simply wrong. Here we have, first of all, with Pisces, with the many children, we have the lord of the ascendant is the exalted lord of the fifth. Here we have no connection between the lord of the fifth and the lord of the first with Aquarius, as you see, Mercury. So there is again, there is even a verse, not to mention that the lord of the fifth is in the last degree, which is a very weak placement. Many astrologers say that it's already acting in the next time. So I was saying that with Pisces, the lord of the exalted lord of the fifth is in the second. Money coming to her from fifth house matters, and also there is mutual reception between Jupiter and the Sun. The exalted lord of the second is in the fifth. Again, the native making money through fifth house matters, which in this case is children. But I remind you that she also made a good amount of money from working at striptease clubs. Again, money she could not make in any other way. She said that the only industry that would take her was the porn industry. She refused to have sex, and that in order to be close to her children, to provide for her children, the other industry was the entertainment industry in the sense of striptease clubs. Again, she did not pose naked, etc., etc. But the point is that this is a very key topic, and again, here we have nothing of the sort. So what need I continue? But let's also with Aquarius, the lord of the sixth is the moon. The moon is safe. Yes, the sun is in the sixth. The sixth being the house of injury. The sun is in the sixth. The sun rules the back. That's true. The sun is afflicted by Saturn. It sort of makes sense. However, look with the correct ascendant. The sixth is Leo, which rules the back, and the lord of the sixth is afflicted by Saturn. Much more direct. Not just that, obviously. With Pisces ascendant, she has with Aquarius, I told you she has severe problems with her reproductive system. She has the lord of the fifth in the fifth. Yes, it rules the eighth, but it's unafflicted in its own domicile. Nothing of the sort. With Pisces ascendant, she has the lord of the eighth. Again, the eighth being the reproductive system, being Venus. Venus is in her fall, which is an affliction, although Venus is of the sect. But Venus also possibly afflicts the ascendant degree by opposition. Again, tremendous difference. Let's see. Yes, also I told you about her parents. Again, everything I told you, I'm confirming it now from the chart. All the accidents of the native. Her parents, the fourth is the place of the parents. She has here she has Mars in the fourth domicile, and the fourth is Gemini. But again, with whole signs distinct. She has Mercury in the fourth of parents. Mercury is the planet of knowledge, but more importantly, because this in many cases you can't use that for rectification. But take a look for her mother's career. Her mother, both parents are the fourth house overall. When you have to use derived houses, the father is the fourth, the mother is his spouse, so she is the 10th. Only when you have to specify which parent in terms of their life, when you have to extract details. So the mother is the 10th, her career is the 10th from the 10th, which is the 7th. What do we have in the 7th? We have the again, her mother was a teacher of children. We have in the 10th, we have the moon and Venus. The moon rules the 5th of children, Venus rules the 3rd of education. And obviously Virgo is ruled by Mercury, but you can't necessarily say that for every chart. Obviously, that with Pisces ascendant, that the mother of the native would be a teacher because Mercury rules the 7th. No. But the point is that it fits wonderfully. It fits perfectly. Whereas here, what do we have? We have nothing of the sort. It doesn't fit. Also. I told you that Nadya's mother and her sister Nadya's aunt, they came from the United States. They came to the United States from Germany. They're from Lithuania, and that you will notice that with the correct Pisces ascendant, so the moon being universally the mother and Venus being universally sisters, they're conjunct, and they're conjunct in the 7th domicile. Again, we don't know exactly the degree yet. They are conjunct in the 7th, and one of the meanings of the 7th is long stays abroad. Again, this comes from the 4th century astrologer Paul of Alexandria, and also Indian astrologers, they also use the 7th as one of the places possible of immigration, because being the opposition to the ascendant. So again, it fits perfectly, whereas here these planets are in the 7th by quadrant, but in the 8th domicile, as you see. Nothing fits with Aquarius. Again, Aquarius is it's reason, it's the mind, it's Saturn. Here it's Pisces. It's again much more emotional, intuitive, and irrational, if you will. And also keep in mind that with Pisces ascendant, these planets, the moon and Venus, the feminine planets, the nurturing planets, they could possibly oppose the ascendant. Whereas here that's not the case, because obviously Virgo is averse to it's averse to Aquarius. Let's see what else. The vindictive. First of all, lack of siblings. Here we have Jupiter in the 3rd domicile. This does not necessarily promise siblings, but Jupiter bestows in general. And here we have Mars. Also the vindictive neighbors. Here we have Jupiter again in the 3rd domicile. Here we have Mars in the 3rd, in detriment. Again, this clearly fits, whereas this doesn't. Aquarius ascendant doesn't. Let's see. Yes, I told you that the native is very religious. She's a regular churchgoer, etc., etc. Again, you can read the interviews and the sources. And now in ancient, so with Aquarius we have the 9th house showing God and higher knowledge. The 9th is ruled by Venus. The Lord of the 9th, it's not it's not that that religion plays you know, a leading part in her life, but it plays an important part. And here again, with Aquarius, it simply doesn't fit. Now, one might say that the Lord of the first is exalted Lord 9. That's true, but this Lord 9 is in detriment and combust, and Venus is in fall. Whereas here with Pisces is much more religious than Aquarius, for obvious reasons, because Pisces is ruled by Jupiter and not by Saturn, by the skeptic planet, and also because Pisces is the 9th domicile in the Thema Mundi, the horoscope of the world, of the hypothetical creation of the cosmos, and also because obviously Jupiter is the one of the key significators of religion. In ancient astrology there are 3 planets. The first is Jupiter, the second is the Sun, the third is Venus. And in her chart we have Jupiter being the ascendant lord, Jupiter in close application, receiving close application with mutual reception from the Sun, as the second planet of having to do with religion overall, and potentially Jupiter being conjunct the lot of spirit. This is the lot of spirit, the lot of the Sun. This is the lot of fortune, the lot of the Moon. And again, doesn't fit Aquarius again, but it doesn't fit for anything, as I'm showing. What else? I told you about the injury. I told you. Yes, I told you about the. I told you here about she cannot feel. She hasn't felt her toes for many years, and she has problems with the toes. Well, which this is not such a strong testimony for. But it is a stronger testimony also for Pisces, because Saturn, the 12th house rules the toes, but Saturn is the 12th lord in either case, and Saturn is afflicted by the Sun. However, in the correct chart, Saturn is afflicted by the 6th lord, the lord of injury. So again, more immediate, more accurate. Let's see. Although here it would be the 12th lord in the 6th of injury. So yeah, but that's not. So that's not a. It's not a. I take that back. It's not any advantage to Pisces for this. But let's see what else. Yes, and also with Aquarius, the North Node falls in the while it's in the 9th by quadrant, it's in the 10th domicile again. Whereas with Pisces, it's in the 9th, actually both ways. And again, while Mars is Lord 9, there is the North Node here, and all these planets again that show strong interest in this, and also potentially the lot of spirit, which it actually is conjunct the Lord of the Ascendant in the final rectified time. So what else? Yeah, I forgot to say actually that Nadya, when she was 17, she had breast reduction surgery. Again, if women, as I said, women have more moisture in general than men, obviously, than us, and Pisces is a watery. It's a watery ascendant, so it's wet and moist. Again, this is also another indication, because with Aquarius, that although the Lord is in Cancer, but this is also an indication. And also speaking of physiognomy, I forgot to give because let me show you some other photos of Nadya. There is a resemblance, to Angelina Jolie, some resemblance, and this is from her Instagram, to see even when she was 17 years old here, or 18, 1995, and this is also her when young. You can see there is a resemblance, although she has had some cosmetic procedures done. I want to show that even prior to the cosmetic, there is a similarity, some similarity to Angelina Jolie. There is also Nadya here. Yes, that's the photo that I already showed, and there is also Nadya here at age 2003, again from her Instagram. All credit to these are her photos. And as you can see, the reason I'm showing this is because Angelina Jolie, there is Angelina Jolie's chart. Angelina Jolie, she has Cancer ascendant, also 1975 actually, Cancer ascendant, and Angelina Jolie has Venus conjunct the ascendant, which is one of the classical indications of beauty. The planet of beauty conjunct the place of the body, the place of life. But the reason I'm saying this is because she has Cancer ascendant, but in the third decanate, which is Pisces. So she has the Pisces decanate of Cancer. Whereas Nadya, we don't yet. I'll tell you, but her decanate, the correct one is she has Pisces. She has Pisces ascendant and Pisces decanate, and Angelina Jolie has the Venus conjunct the ascendant. Nadya has the Moon and Venus opposing the ascendant. Obviously, the Moon ruling Cancer. So there is a connection to this. There is a connection, and there is some sort of similarity between them. But the point is that this is true with the correct ascendant. With the again, you can look up photos of Angelina Jolie. So yeah, let's see. So now that that's out of the way, yeah, another thing in terms of this, as you see, this approach is the approach I'm using and I'm teaching, as I will explain later, is extremely thorough and extremely it's rock solid. It's one, if you do your homework properly, you will be standing on, provided obviously you have the knowledge, you have the training, you will be and the experience, you will be standing on firm ground and not have to, to use some some isolated events to explain why, to explain that the time is this and that. So speaking of this, Nadya, one last thing that comes to mind. There are others that are probably missing, but I gave so many already. That Nadya, she entered into marriage. She married in November or December 1990. 25th of December 1996. So Nadya married when she was 21 years old, as you see, the 11th of July 1975, and so she was 21. Now if we use perfections, we will see that so she was 10th place here, 21, 18, 21. Not much is going on here. The Lord of the Year is in the 7th relative to it, but it's not conducive to. However, here what we have is that the perfected 7th, she was in a relationship, came to its domicile Lord. This 10th place here. This is one of the one of the rules for timing a relationship or marriage. Also, I'm yet to get into the lots, but because I should say that she was another relationship she had was when she was in April. She began in May 2012. She began a short relationship with a man who was 13 years her younger than her junior, and she was 36. So she was 21, 36. So 36 here. The point is that the lot of marriage, one of the lots of marriage, is ruled by Jupiter, is ruled by this. Again, also working with this ascendant and not with this one. Let's see. Let me get rid of this. Let me quickly show you some of her. second. So what I want to do is, actually they will, but yeah, let me quickly, for those that want to, I will quickly go over the document. For those that are, diligent student and practitioner that are interested in it, that are interested in this, and that would like to confirm it or try to refute it, you're more than welcome to. Let's see. These are her children. As you see, I've tried to order the document by chronology. This is with the doctor, with her doctor. So she was offered $500,000 then. Anyhow, that does a lot of money. We don't need to differentiate, and we can't actually differentiate how much exactly. Yes, I forgot to say that she was Nadya was sued because by the state of California, because she did not declare some earnings, and she had to pay back the money, and she was sentenced to community service, etc. And again, with the correct ascendant, we have by the way, the 8th house shows benefits, etc. Other people's money that you receive when you such as disabilities and pensions, etc., etc. She has the 8th lord opposing the ascendant, and also the 8th lord with it works both. The 8th lord is again a given house, as you know, has several meanings, but the reproductive system problems, and also the 8 is a meaning that's known by very few astrologers. It comes from Al-Biruni, the 11th century astrologer, is that the 8th house rules the bad effects of drugs on the body. The 8 being, also obviously death, and so the 8 is the bad effects of drugs to the body, and so she also has this. She had in 2012 you will see it yourself. In October, she entered into she went to a treatment center to undergo rehabilitation to treat her anxiety, stress, and she had a problem with the tranquilizer drug called Xanax, a drug which alters the brain chemistry, and alcohol also. Let's see, she was, there is here that she was accused of welfare fraud, and she pleaded no contest, etc., etc. And there are some quotes from Nadya. There, I've wanted to show you something that she said, that she's all about children. That she's all about children, and she has a need. When they asked her, based on fulfilling your need to have a lot of children. Again, Pisces, not Aquarius. You're saying I'm all about my kids? Yeah. And well, obviously with Pisces, the lord of the 5th is the moon, and it's opposing the ascendant. Again, the planet of nurturing, extreme. Also, you'll notice that by the way, I should have said that there are cases I've seen charts where Venus is in. I've seen with Venus in Aries, and Venus with Virgo, Venus in Virgo also I've seen, because Virgo is the virgin. It's a virgin. This woman is literally, she's not a virgin, but she was celibate for many years, and again, in the final, Venus opposes the ascendant. This plays out as in such a way, and there is also somewhere where she said that she was fine being married to a man, but at a certain point she did not want to be touched, or she did not want to have sex or something like this. I'm not sure whether that's one of her children is autistic. He has special needs. Child number 4. There is a quote about Nadya from her partner, not her. And laughing, etc. Venus signifies laughing. Venus opposes the ascendant and being funny, etc. So now that that's out of the way, it's time to narrow down the accurate ascendant, the Pisces ascendant, and now we can. There are various ways of narrowing down the ascendant. Let's see, where am I? 1 hour. And now you can do it with many astrologers. Again, they act because they don't have this ancient knowledge that I do and that I teach. They have this. They use they use the timing. They use transits and solar arc directions and secondary progressions and tertiary progressions, etc., progress moon, etc. Some use primary directions that are not modern, but that some astrologers that do rectification, or Indian astrologers, they use divisional charts. But the point is that when using when you have just determined the ascendant, you have, if you want to do it accurately, and if you want to do it not just accurately, if you want to do it the smart way, the correct way, the smart way of that will allow you, because any way that allows you to safely progress forward without dealing with variations, with variables, is the correct way. And there are many correct ways, but again, I will show you let's see, I will show you 2 ways in this video. So the first one is let me show the chart so that you see it better this way. I want to see the stakes. I want to see the angles. So the first way is with the I should say that this is like rectification is like this is why I'm showing this toolbox. You have to be extremely flexible, and you have to not every single which is why this toolbox has so many tools inside. Not every approach will be as useful in every chart. Not every approach will even not work, but will be needed in every chart. And again, because every chart is unique, this requires a lot of flexibility and consideration. First of all, what to use, when to use it, and whether not to use it. So, for example, with overall Pisces, we can say that. So the first approach is the angles. The second approach is with the lots, the key lots. Now, when the ascendant is, and it's not always possible, but when the ascendant, when you have to, when you're starting from, we have determined that Pisces is the accurate ascendant, the only correct ascendant that fits that describes the extent of the native. It again, the ascendant should fit like a customized clothing, like customized, only for you and for nobody else. And so with Pisces, we can see that again, depending on I said the first approach, not the first, the second. It depends on the chart. In some charts, you can go with the angles. This is the Oracle software. This is, I have customized the chart to look like this so that it can show me the sticks. It can show me these axial degrees, which are again the most energetic parts of the chart. So in some cases, in some charts, when rectifying, you can go with this, but in others you can go with the lots. And in this case, it's better to go with the lots first. Now, we notice, as I said, this is the lot of fortune, this is the lot of spirit. There are dozens of other lots that are, but these are the major ones. But we notice that actually this is too forward in time. But the point is that the lot of fortune is either in Aquarius or in either in Capricorn or in Aquarius. But there is another lot that's in fact more pertinent to this particular chart, and that I need to actually I forgot to explain about this. Now when you look at the chart like this, which is why again using lots is absolutely mandatory. Again, if you are doing ancient astrology, if you're doing any serious type of astrology, where again where you have to explain everything about the life of the native and be able to predict it, not just explain it after the fact. But here we're doing rectification. So what I'm getting at is, how are you going to explain the secrecy of the native's partner? Her marriage life, the father being unknown and all these things. How are you going to explain that? You cannot without the lots, because here again, not that I'm, but okay, one could say that the Lord of the first is in the sixth and the Lord of the seventh is in the sixth, which is the 12th, which is the 12th from the seventh, from the ascendant of the partner. That could be said, although this ascendant was rejected. But the point is that the lot of marriage, there is this ancient rule that says that when it comes from Rhetorius, not just Rhetorius, Dorotheus also, 6th century and 1st century astrologers, when the lord of the lot of marriage is combust or under the race, the marriage will take place in secret. Or we can say, this is not just I have found out, because again through my extensive professional practice, we can say that there will be something very secret, something unknown, something secretive about not just the marriage, but overall about the relationship, about the partner. And again, no one knows who this man is. Again, she knows him, but so the lot of marriage, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 lots of marriage, and I don't use them all the time, but the key one, or the two key ones, but the key one here is the lot of female marriage, because she's female, from Hermes, which is from Venus to Saturn. And again, there are various astrologers that with the lot formulas. You have to be really careful. It takes a lot of experience. You have to test things out and confirm them. Some astrologers say that this lot formula should be reversed. Others say that it shouldn't. I mean, talking about traditional authors, you have to test things out. So the lot of marriage, female marriage, is from Venus to Saturn, and we see that from Venus to Saturn it's 1 and then 30 and then 38, so about 38, 39, actually 32, so it's about 20 Capricorn. And if you have watched my video about Morinus software and also about Valence software, but especially Morinus, but also Valence is for the zodiacal releasing for the lots, you will see that I showed how to do that. And here, for example, this is Nadya, and these are the two lots that I want to confirm and utilize to narrow down the Pisces ascendant. And you will see that the lot of marriage. So first of all, so when we press F1, so let's go back to 1014. Now the ascendant is 0. That's close enough. So the lot is at 20. So this means that because the lot is in the 11th, and again her friend, we can't say that he was her spouse, but her friend fathered the children in a way. He gave his sperm material. It makes all the sense in the world for the friend to be in the 11th, not in the 12th. And notice that either way, Saturn is in the 5th. But and also that the Lord of the lot of marriage also rules the 12th in the chart, which also brings in syncrecy. But the point is that it makes much more sense for this lot to be in the 11th, not the 12th. So if the lot to remain here, again, it can only go for 9 degrees, so the ascendant would be between 0 and between about 9 or 10. Also, the lot of fortune, it's obviously either in Capricorn or in Aquarius. Now, for the lot of fortune, now bear in mind that if one can confirm that the lot is here, then the lot of fortune will automatically remain in Capricorn. And again, because he is a friend of hers, the lot remains here. But I will also show you that this is true from the other angle, from the other lot, from fortune. And so what we know about Nadya is that, as I told you, she had a let me increase. She had a breast reduction surgery in 1992, and so this is the Aquarius fortune. The Capricorn fortune. This is the Aquarius fortune. The comparison file. We see that in 1992 there was a loosening of the bond in both releasings from Capricorn or Leo. However, notice that with Capricorn we have Cancer, and obviously Cancer rules the breasts again. And now one might say that, wait a second, with Leo we have we have Aquarius, and the Lord of Leo is in Cancer, the breasts. But that's much more immediate. We have here the Lord is in fact we are encountering the Lord. We're encountering the Lord here. So this is the correct one. And also Nadya had breast implants in December 2003. We see that again because it has to do with the body. We see that here she began a new period, which is significant. So what I'm saying is that you will notice that she was in Aquarius in both. Actually, no, she was not. She was in Pisces, so that's even easier. She was in Pisces here, which doesn't make sense, whereas here she was in Aquarius, and the Lord of Aquarius is Saturn, and Saturn is in Cancer. Cancer is the breasts. So this confirms that the lot of fortune is in Capricorn. And in fact, I forgot to say something, but I have not found this to be that significant because it's mentioned once, but Nadya's friends, the 11th, they helped her financially, and she was able to collect the money when she was, I believe, when she was sentenced in 2014 or something. But she collected money through friends for something, and here the lot is in the 12th. When if fortune were in Aquarius, it would fall in the 12th in the correct ascendant. So this has confirmed in two ways that the lot of fortune is in Aquarius, and therefore the lot of actually the lot of marriage is in sorry, the lot of marriage is in Capricorn, and automatically fortune also remains in Capricorn, and as I just proved, fortune is in Capricorn. The lot of spirit is either in theory either in Aries or in Taurus, although when we lock fortune in Aquarius, I keep making this mistake, I apologize, when we confirm fortune in Capricorn, spirit automatically remains in Aries, because the ascendant cannot be more than 10, so spirit cannot be more than 21, 22 Aries, right? So with that out of the way, and in fact I will show you in another way that fortune is in Aquarius, namely that when Nadya gave birth to just a second, where is the file? Here, zodiacal releasing from fortune for octuplets on the 26th of January 2009. Yes, 26th, and so she was in zodiacal releasing from she was in Capricorn level 2, which is the fortune ascendant, one of the most important, one of the most eminent positions in the chart, the other being the fortune 10th. So again, and moreover, the Lord of Fortune is in the 5th of Children, not in the 6th as it would be here. So again, note that with Aquarius, why am I keep using? I mean, with Aquarius, because fortune is in Capricorn, we could still, and spirit is in Aries, someone could still say, it works, because the Lord is. It doesn't, because she hit a fortune angle. That's true, but the placement of the Lord is in the wrong house. So she hit the fortune first. In fact, there was a loosening of the bond, but she was in the fortune angles, and also on the level 4 she was in fortune first. So fortune is in Capricorn, and then automatically this means that the ascendant is between 0 and 10 Pisces. Let me remove this. And so how do we go about further narrowing it down? Well, the way I do it is, again, we set up a midpoint between 0 and 10, so let's call it 5, and we start checking things. And I'm sure that anyone watching this and being interested in rectification, they should know they know, or they're close to knowing how to do that properly. So I will not be dealing that much with this, but suffice it to say that you will notice I keep saying that with Venus and the Moon, planet of nurturing, of the Moon being opposed to the ascendant and being the Lord of the 5th. Again, she's obsessed, as you've seen over and over again with these children. And exalted Lord of the 1st is exalted Lord of the ascendant is Lord of the 5th. It's receiving applications from a planet in the 5th, from etc. And these planets also, the Moon, Lord of the 5th, being opposing the ascendant. But the way to do it is, for example, my final rectified time is of the ascendant is at 2:05, Pisces 10, 19, 18 seconds. Seconds are also important. I rectify, but the point is that where's the 5? Yeah, that. This brings me back to the question of of indications for twins, indications for also for multiple births, and for many children. Now this is also important. We can't use it for rectification necessarily, although we can use it. I mean, we can use it, but not as one of the very leading factors of the process. So what we can say is, obviously, again, obviously Pisces is, as I said twice, Pisces is one of the signs of many children, and so when we have benefic planets bestowing children, which are Jupiter, Venus, the Moon, and Mercury varies depending on who he is configured with. But the point is that there is a lot of children. That's an extremely important point. And by the way, I should explain that what I'm doing is advanced astrology, and that there are rules behind what I'm doing, and that for example, that I'm showing a given lot now, or using one lot or the other, you can't always apply this to every chart, because there are rules that, and there are charts where a given lot will not work, will not be, there are rules behind this. So yeah. So with a lot of children also, with the caveat I made earlier, for example, Dorotheus, he does not reverse the lot of children for night charts. Again, there are other astrologers that do, and only experience and experience and an open mind will show you which the accurate formula is. And the accurate formula in this case is that the lot should be reversed, and that the lot of children falls in the 10th house, because we count from Saturn to Jupiter, and by night, Jupiter to Saturn by day, and Saturn to Jupiter by night. And as you see, it's a pretty much exact square. So the lot will fall in the 10th domicile. And lo and behold, what do we see? We see the benefics possibly scrutinizing very closely, aspecting the lot. And in the final rectified time, it is the case. And we also see that the Lord of the Lot is in regards aspects by sign, as we call, regards the lot by a trine. Extremely positive configuration. Also, it is very important to know that none of her children has died. Very, very pleased to hear that, obviously, and that because there is a case of other octuplets that were born by an American woman, I believe, and I believe they all died, or most of them died. Whereas here, the children are safe. And we see that the fifth lord is this malefic Saturn is afflicted. First of all, it's burned, so its damage is lessened, and also received by Jupiter by exaltation. And also the lot, the reason I'm explaining is that the lot is none of the malefics can do anything to the lot. So this protects, obviously. And yeah, and by the way, if you're some could say, well, wait a second, she couldn't have children. How come? That's true. She couldn't have children. There was she has, problems, as I explained, with her reproductive system, etc., etc. But with the help of technology, she was able to have many children. And the point is that there, again, this is advanced stuff, but there are cases where the Baron, again, it also various astrologers differ on which signs are barren. Everyone agrees about the fruitful, but the Baron, although even about the fruitful, some of the odd ones, but it's not pertinent to this chart. They give Capricorn, the latter part of Capricorn, the tail. But the point is that astrologers differ into which signs are barren. And Virgo is barren. Remember that Virgo is barren. But however, what I'm getting at is that there are specific cases where a given barren sign in a given chart will give many children. No, it's not a contradiction. It's not. there is an exception to this. And let's see, if you want to check this out, well, I can tell you some charts. Why don't you look up the chart of Muhammad Ali and see that he had 9 children, and he has Jupiter in Gemini doing something. Okay, let me give you a hint. He's Jupiter in Gemini doing something, and there are other cases as well. There are let's see, I have a yes, Gordon Ramsay is a famous British chef. He has something like this. Also, Bangalore Raman, the most extremely famous Indian astrologer, 21, possibly the most famous Indian astrologer of the 20th century. He had 7 or 9 children. He has something like this as well. Such a, it should be barren. But something else is going on. And so this is the point is that so the ascendant being from 0 to 10, the midpoint being at 5, and the final rectified time being closer, these planets opposing, let me move down to the final rectified time, closely opposing the ascendant and scrutinizing, what we call scrutinizing aspect within 3 degrees, the lot of children. So this is the final rectified time of Natalie. For those that let's see, how am I with, I should be closing this, but those that you can see, I have the primary direction of Saturn in the fall of 2008 that I told you. First of all, Saturn signifies humiliation and forced activities and threats, etc. Along with and she was exhausted because of the kids in the 5th house. And when this square of Saturn came to the ascendant, when Saturn reached here, the square hit the ascendant, she hibernated for 6 weeks. Saturn rules the 12th. One of the place has to do with sleeplessness, with problems with sleep, etc. But overall, also with this exhaustion, also she sleeps. Nadya sleeps a few hours a day. She has slept a few hours a day for many years. She says the longest she has gone on without sleep is for 72 hours. Now imagine a single mother raising 14 children. Let's see. So the square of Saturn, the body of Jupiter came to the ascendant with this rectified time. It came in April. It's about 2.5 to 3 months late. That's fine because there were other this direction also timed so for the octuplets, but it also timed when the day when it was announced that she mid-April, 16th of April, 17th of April, when Nadya announced that she had signed this contract for, it was specified later, for $250,000. Again, Jupiter being the exalted lord of the 15th naturally signifying children in the 2nd. And and let's see what else. There is also the direction of there was a converse direction of the square of Mars to in 92-93 when she was 17 for her breast reduction surgery. Again, Mars ruling the knife and surgery overall. What else? There was I should say there is, not there was, but there is also direction about, let's see, when Nadya lost money with these striptease clubs because she refused to perform. She had said that she would perform, I believe, topless, and she refused, and there was some and they threatened to sue her, and that she had to go, and so there was an opposition. That's by converse directions, the opposition of Venus to the lot of fortune. Let's see what else. Not much is known about her previous relationships, and when there is a primary direction of the trine of the trine of Venus to the midheaven. That's a little earlier than the marriage, but it comes in the spring of 1996, and she married in was it in November 1996. And again, it's you're just given we don't know when they met, when the relationship began, etc., etc. You're just given for the date of marriage. A given direction does not always time the event per se. It can time the beginning of the prior. I mean, because the marriage is just the end, the culmination. It's not the process. But so are there others? Yeah, there are certainly others. I can't think of. I think this is it. Her mother died in November 2014 from ovarian cancer. Nadya was 39. That should that ought to cover it. That ought to cover it for now. I mean, obviously, I can. Otherwise, the video would become much longer. If I start showing the directions and and the rationale, etc., etc. But you can check for yourselves. I've shown you the chronology, and etc., etc. In closing, about twins, I wanted to show something about. There is from Ptolemy. I will give a link in the description. But about twins is that when the way to see twins or multiple birds is from when you have the lights in double-bodied signs images, and when you have also the ascendant, and also when the lords of these are also in double-bodied, or whether they are in conjunctions of 2 or 3 planets and such. And again, here we have the ascendant being double-bodied, we have the moon being double-bodied, and we have the moon and conjunct Venus double-bodied, and we have the sun disposed by a planet that's double-bodied, the moon disposed by a planet that's being double-bodied, the lot of marriage in Sagittarius double-bodied again. And also this would not help with rectification, but it's an important general principle that when 2 planets conjoin, their effect is more than their effect when they're separate. In other words, this, because it's double-bodied, 2 plus 2, 4. This does not give 4. This will give more children, not 4, because they're conjunct. In other words, if the moon were here, or rather here, let's say here was sextiling, and Venus were squaring, they would be separate planets. They're together. She gave birth to 8, and so you can't. 2 and 2 plus 2 is 4, plus the lot in double-bodied 6, and the lord or something. But or 3 plus 3 plus the lot, or something like this. And again, this is predicting this in advance would be You would have to be divinely inspired to get the exact number. But we don't need to do that. I mean, it's when you get to 3, 4 or more children, when you get to more, it requires tremendous amount of work. And that's not the topic of and so the final rectified time, as you see, the Lord of the Ascendant is in the second. The second is one of the finances, movable wealth, but also the mouth, the throat, and she's very conscientious about what she eats. I told you she's a vegan, and also the Lord of the Ascendant is conjunct the lot of spirit, these inclinations, church going, etc. Also Mars is possibly also sextiling this strong physical activity. She's running a lot, and also obviously the Lord of the First is in Aries, which is a domicile of Mars. So this woman, tremendous respect and admiration for her. She was criticized so much, but to be able to do it on your own, I mean, a single mother, that's and she was also she's proud, and she doesn't want to depend on on the state. She did not want to give food for her critics, so to say, and she wanted to be off the state, the coupons and the help, the funds as soon as possible. And which again, these critics, they conveniently miss the fact that actually, as you see here, that let's get something straight. We're, depending on who is watching this, we're all human, but we're from different races. We're different. I mean, the white race. I'm from the white race. The white race has been declining in the West and for decades. And as you see, there is an article here that they're amid browning of America. So they're criticizing her, but they're not criticizing people in other countries, poorer countries where they have many more children. Not that fortune is not many. It's many. It's a lot. It's sort of a double standard. And so other races are increasing, or other religions are increasing, but the white race and Christians, and I'm not a Christian, I'm not into religion, I'm into spirituality. But anyhow, the point is that there is sort of a double standard about this, and it's not fair at all, especially in a country that's that's supposed to be the the pinnacle of freedom, the United States, that I like so much. And so let's see what else. I believe this is it. One last thing. If you wish to know how to do this, how to do it properly, how to learn how to rectify, I'm the author of the only course in the world outside of India, speaking of Western astrology, ancient astrology, that teaches 24-hour rectification. What I have shown here is something really small compared to when you start to rectify charts where the time deviation is many hours apart, and that where you have to use their other broader approaches, more robust approaches also, and other techniques also that are used for that I have not shown here, because the ascendants were again neighboring ascendants, Aquarius, Pisces, or some other, but it's so if you're interested in that, I suggest you can I'll give a link in the description to my rectification course, to this article. You can read what it is about, and I have where I teach in detail how to, in my course, how to do that, how to start thinking accurately. I hope that I have imparted, I have shown you the type of seriousness and consideration and dedication that's required to do accurate and diligent rectification, and not just go with the written document, because again, I see clients almost on a daily basis. I have to predict, I have to perform, a lot of is expected of me, and I cannot just take something and and because everything that an astrologer does is dependent upon the accurate time of birth. If the time of birth is inaccurate, so because there are astrologers that offer rectification, so to say, rectification services, but the rectification they offer is only approximate. And again, this is not it could work for them, but the client is paying something and they're charging obviously for this rectification, but the client ends up with a time of birth that suits only the astrologer and not the client. And the goal is to once you do rectification, the client, he or she, they can use this time with whoever astrologer they want. It may not be you, but otherwise, when you do an incomplete rectification, the client would have to go to another astrologer, in years, imagine, in 10 years, in 20 years, and the other astrologer would say, wait a second, I can't use this. Who rectified this? I can't use, I have to skip so many methods because the astrologer did a sloppy job. He did a job that was enough for him or her and not for the others. So please take this into account also, and watch out for such astrologers that do not rectify to again to the minute. And in fact, this is not just to the minute. This is even more accurate because again, I showed you there are so many. There are many dates. We're fortunate. There is also missing information about her real estate, about her other accidents. So yeah, this is what I wanted to share. If you like it, if you enjoyed the video, this is my channel, Ancient in Chinese Astrology. I would recommend you subscribing, and if you have a question or a comment, I would be happy to answer them. Write them below. Thank you.